All right, this is the video to kick off the 2019 Fantasy Football League. I wanted to give you guys an update on some changes that we're making. The first and the most important one is that we are going to be switching from ESPN to an app called Sleeper. There's a few reasons why. I'll give those here in a second. I realize it's going to be a big adjustment for everybody, but I just ask you guys to have a little patience with it. It really is a better format for a lot of reasons. The first one is it allows us to have off-season work. So ESPN shuts down, I think, after the Super Bowl for a little while, and we can't do trades, we can't make adjustments to the league, can't pick up and drop people off waivers. And obviously lots of news is happening during that time still. So this format will also allow us to trade draft picks, which I think is pretty important in our kind of hybrid dynasty keeper league. So if you're in rebuild mode, you pick up people's draft picks for older guys, or if you're in win now mode, you can trade away your future draft picks to get better this season. It also gives us the ability to have a taxi squad, which I'll get into here in next few seconds. The other thing that's super important is it's a common news source. So this is actually an app that I've been using for a long time for their updates, because you'll get all the breaking news. So if somebody gets hurt, it pops up there usually before it hits the news or anywhere else. So a lot of the big waiver wire pickups or people that I've had success with have been because of news on there. So it kind of gives a little bit of an edge that I've had away, but I think it'll get more activity in the league, so it'll be a little bit more fun. Also, there is the ability to chat with the league in the app, which I think is super important, having a healthy, fun league, so that we get more trades, more trash talking, more gifts, and all that fun stuff. One of the big things is there's just a lot more control or customization with this app. It's designed specifically for leagues like ours that are not redraft. So we can change it so that you can put doubtful players on IR, for example. It doesn't make a lot of sense that you can't put a doubtful player who we're pretty sure isn't going to play in an IR slot. It also gives the ability to do things like an extra game against the median. So and we can talk about whether we want to do that or not. So for example, you get 1 point if you win your weekly match, but you also get another point if you beat the median score. So if you're a high scoring team that's losing, you can still, like, let's say you're number 2 scoring team in the league, but you're 0-4, which I think we saw with Bryce a couple of years ago. Then you're still going to be competitive. And then also, if you're a bad team that's not scoring a lot of points, but you're still winning because you have an easy match, you're not going to be rewarded as much. We can talk about whether we want to do that or not. But also, this is going to make it a lot easier to draft for rookie drafts, specifically on the app. That's something we're not able to do on ESPN, at least as far as I'm aware of. Really, this is an app that is a lot more modern. I mean, ESPN hasn't changed a lot since I started doing fantasy in like the mid 2000s. So this one's just way more modern with modern rule changes and all that stuff. So you can also customize your notifications. So you can if you're getting too much noise from the app, you can say exactly what you want to hear about, what you don't want to hear about. And this allows for multi-team trades with it, which I think is awesome. So you can actually involve 3 or 4 teams in a trade that you want to initiate. So we might get some cool things that happen there. As far as rule changes for this year, I want to add a taxi squad just to give rookies a little bit more value. Basically what it is it allows you to, if you draft a player, it's almost like a second roster. We've talked about this a little bit, but it's like a holding tank where you can put players that it doesn't allow you to play those players until you pull them off the taxi squad, and then you can't put them back on there. But basically, what we've done in the past is that first 1 or maybe 2 rounds of your rookie picks matter, or maybe about half those matter, and then the rest you end up just dropping to waivers. So the draft really doesn't even matter unless you have like a top 5 picks. So adding the taxi squad will allow you to say, all right, well, I'm going to take a guy who probably is not going to play for even a couple of years, like maybe a quarterback who gets drafted, like a Drew Lock or maybe a running back behind somebody, and you can sit him there and basically you have the rights to that player until you pull them off the taxi squad, so that you might want to play them. And basically, if you draft a guy, you can leave him there for 2 years. I'm going to add continuous waivers. So instead of having the one waiver day and then every day after that is kind of a free for all, we'll have probably like 10 a.m. every day. You have a chance to pick up a player, and you can put in $0 bids still, so you can get guys for free. But if you miss that waiver time, you're gonna have to wait for the next day. So basically, I think that gives an edge to people who are going to be a little bit busier, or it flattens out what's fair. Like I am a little bit more in control of my schedule, so if something happens in the middle of the day, I can go up and pick up a player right away. So it's not necessarily fair to somebody who's working a 9 to 5 who can't get on their phone. So also, you're gonna be able to trade your free agent acquisition money. So it's not gonna be that big of a deal, but it's kind of a nice kicker if you're not sure about a trade and you throw in $25 of fab or something like that. And then just a quick announcement, kind of to put an end to this. Trades are going to be immediately processed and without review, except I've been reviewing them in the past, and really we won't do any vetoes unless there's like obvious collusion, like if teams are working together to say, all right, well, let's work together to make your team better, or I don't know, something weird, like you're paying somebody for an unfair trade, you're paying them on the side or something like that. So pretty much bad trades are going to be allowed. It's kind of this. I don't really like this, and I still have a kind of a bad taste in my mouth about the Le'Veon Bell trade, with just having punishing Bryce for how that worked out. The truth is, if you have a bad team, or if you have a team, you should be able to manage it poorly if you want to. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I don't want to play the game of saying what's fair and what's not, because you never know. I mean, somebody gets hurt and a bad trade looks like a good trade all of a sudden. So again, we can talk about the extra game versus the median I mentioned earlier. And then the other thing I want to do is add points for first downs for running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. We may also need to increase quarter QB touchdowns from 4 points to 6 points. We can talk about that. But that's kind of it. I'll send you guys the link to the Sleeper app, and then get you guys registered on there. You can check your teams and make sure everything's looking good, because I had to manually import all the teams, and I may have made a mistake here or there. So with that, let me know if you have any questions. We'll probably look at a draft. It's probably going to be beginning of September, possibly the end of August. We want to get as close to the regular season as possible, while still making sure that everybody can make it to a draft. But again, because it's going to be easier to do a draft on the app for a rookie draft, if people can't make it, they still should be able to draft. So anyway, any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye.